Church supports Anil Anthony in Pathanamthitta. This is a first. Ladies and gentlemen, a first in Kerala, and I'm sure this shall be discussed even after the elections get over in the state. A church extending support to a Bharatiya Janata Party candidate. Well, the Believers Eastern Church has declared its support for the BJP candidate Anil K. Antony in Pathanamthitta. The church's president Matthews Mar Silvanus Metropolitan met with Anil Anthony and made the support formal in front of everybody. This is, like I said, is the first time that a church has cozied up to the BJP, but many political motives are being attributed to this move. Apparently, this Thiruvalla-based church has been under the radar of the central government for allegedly receiving foreign funds through the NGOs run by it. In 2017, the Ministry of Home Affairs stopped the church and 3 NGOs associated with it from receiving foreign funds and even cancelled their registrations under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Act, or FCRA. What's more, the church has also had visits from the Income Tax Department and the Enforcement Directorate. There is, of course, no doubt that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made several attempts to woo the church and religious leaders as they wield considerable influence over the state's political parties. Even as Anil Anthony was strongly dismissed and rebuked by his father, veteran Congressman A.K. Antony, who wished for his failure, is the church's support for Anil Anthony a new chapter in the politics of Kerala? Let's debate. Welcoming as our experts AJITH LAWRENCE, senior journalist, and NIRMAL ABRAHAM, columnist and political analyst. A very, very warm welcome to both of you. AJITH and NIRMAL, your opening comments. AJITH, first you. This is the first time. Do you think it's a trend? Do you think that this is something, it's opening of a new chapter? Will we all sit maybe a few years later and say, remember it first happened in 2024?
No, I mean, this is a Protestant group. This Believers Eastern Church is a Protestant, recently developed Oriental Protestant church, which has had been many a time after Modi government came into power, raided by IT and ED departments. And that is what prompts these people to surrender in front of this BJP's political weapon like IT and ED. And these people have been banned from receiving money. That is, their FCRA license was cancelled in 2020.
Right.
And as far as these people are concerned, I mean, this Believers Eastern Church is concerned, as their headquarters is in Thiruvalla, as you have already mentioned. They have a. I remember I had an interview with Mr. Bishop K.P. Yoganan when he was ordained as bishop. It was me, the one who first interviewed him. And I have seen a wonderful, beautiful, brilliant library, electronics library. That's nowhere in India. India is been erected by not even by government of India or in, any state government. In that way, you can see the affluence. You can see the affluence and the richness of this church.
Yeah.
Because Bishop K.P. Yoganan's wife is a richest woman from Germany, and he has been receiving a lot of foreign funds from, including Germany. And he is also a well-known and
so yeah, Ajit, so they are affluent, but do you think that it is opening up of a new chapter in the politics of Kerala, where the church, one particular church of a particular denomination, is supporting the BJP, unheard of in earlier times?
Yeah, but you must understand, Pathanamthitta there are a multiple number of Christian churches with the Christian denomination. Not many Christian denomination churches are there. All of them are Protestant, either Protestant or Pentecostal church. And this is perhaps the last or latest Pentecostal church erected by Bishop K.P. Yoganan. And these people, as far as I know, these people have hardly 1,000 voters for this church in that particular Pathanamthitta constituency, Parliament constituency.
A lot of church, religious leaders and the church, they've been impressed or rather influenced by this whole love jihad, narcotics jihad, etc., etc. There seems to be a kind of animosity against Muslims, which was never witnessed in Kerala. If you read, there is divisive seeds, they say, and it's been watered by the church. Do you think, apart from what Ajit told us, which I also mentioned, is the ED is after them and the IT is after them. There is some kind of illegal activities allegedly that they've indulged in. Do you think that the church is slowly cozying up to the BJP? Maybe it's a beginning.
Not entirely, because if you look at, as Sri AJITH Lawrence pointed out, there are many denominations, especially in Pathanamthitta. There's Orthodox, Catholics, Marthamites, Jacobites, Protestants, Jehovah's Witnesses, the list goes on. Believers Church, as he rightly mentioned, is one of the small denominations of the many different denominations in Pathanamthitta. So I don't think that's the case with the other denominations, although there are priests and there are members of the church speaking in private exactly what you said. But no church has actually come out in support of a BJP candidate or the party ever in the history of Kerala, which is what makes this historic. Whether this makes a difference, I'm not sure at the moment, because at the moment, if you look at Anil Anthony and the kind of support he gets, as you rightly pointed out, it's because of the cases that exist. But I don't think it's going to make a difference, especially in connection to elections. But if you look at the future in Kerala, a lot of the young Christians do not support that point of view. I was just speaking at my university to my students, and interestingly, this came up, although we never speak politics in the organization. Students were interested about this topic. They saw the video last time, and most of the students have the opinion that, the Christian students have the opinion that it is senseless to show such videos or documentaries or movies to the youth. Let them decide. We're all independent thinkers. We know what's going on, and we will decide. And again, when you compare to the past, in the 70s and the 80s, when the church used to come up and say, members, vote for Mr. B, we used to vote for Mr. B. But now that has changed. Members are independent thinkers. They have independent opinions. They no more vote for a particular party or a person just because the church asked them to do so. And it's interesting also, because when I got the call about the discussion, I was actually having a conversation with a person in Pathanamthitta who belongs to the Believers Church, and he said the exact same thing. He said, I will not vote for Anil Anthony just because my church asked me to do so, because I have other plans. And he said the same thing that AJITH Lawrence mentioned, that the church was maybe persuaded or forced to make that opinion, because of which at least 50 to 60% of the voters do not actually have the same opinion.
All right.
So,
yeah, okay, Nirmal. I mean, you make some very, very interesting points, and what a coincidence, our story, and you're, talking to someone from there about the same thing. I'm glad that we pick up important stories on this show. AJITH Lawrence, I want to ask you, then what about all the apologists who sit there and they say, oh, the church traditionally supports the left or the Congress or the so and so. If what Nirmal says is, the church may say, Mr. X, go and vote for party B. He says we all have our own heads and we decide on that. But what about the influence? And the second question, Ajit, is it going to help Anil Anthony? Nirmal says, no. I'm asking you, even this small, there are 10,000 families is what my colleague Aman tells me, who support the Believers Church. So I'm asking you that, is it going to help Anil Anthony, because Anil Anthony has already created a narrative, oh, you Pakistani, you whatever, we've been seeing him, he's polarizing. So what do you think, Ajit?
Anil Anthony is going to cut a very sorry figure with least minimum vote that he will score in this election. He will not have any significant amount of vote to show that he gets this kind of small church group support. He's going to be atrociously. He's going to be facing a very sorry figure, because nobody in Kerala is having any sort of allegiance or any sort of affinity with Anil Anthony, particularly declining his father's hegemony in the Congress party. That is there. That has gone there very, very, very obviously, and he is been described as someone who is not in terms with his father, because all these things are. He's a very ambitious fellow, and he has now been in the news with the allegations of accepting 10 lakh rupees from another power broker. All these things are there.
Okay.
So he doesn't have a significant place in Kerala's politics, particularly when he belongs to this BJP.
But you know, there has this particular, the other question that I asked you was that, is it then a myth, Ajit, when people, psephologists sit there and say that the church is inclined towards this party, the LDF or the UDF? Because what Nirmal says is, no, gone are those days. The church may say whatever, our bishop may say whatever, but I'll go and vote for the party that I believe in. Is that true about Kerala now?
That is absolutely true. Earlier means my younger days, there used to be pastoral letters, which this what do you call, the bishops used to read on Sunday holy masses, where they ask the laity to what do you call, laity to incline to a certain political party or a candidate or something like that. That were gone are the days, as he said, it's all bygone days.
All
And
right.
now nobody will apply to any sort of pastoral letters applied
All right.
to any political party or not even
Okay.
to the bishop who reads out this kind of a letter on
All right.
politics.
So,
Because
so
it is
both,
not their duty
yeah,
to,
both
it
of
is
you
not
have
their
denied.
duty to say on-
Yeah. Both of you are saying that this is a small church and don't go by the influence that it has. Nirmal, I'm going to give you the last 2 minutes to you. Remember PC George? You know, who was, you remember what happened, the way he polarized. I mean, we all remember that case of the terrible polarization between Muslims and Christians and also some of the Hindus. What made Kerala accept PC George? Why don't you think it can happen now?
No, if you look at what happened to PC George right before he made the statement, in the years before that, he stood alone against all the three parties, LDF, UDF, and BJP, and
Right.
independently won the seat with a 28,000 majority. But the minute he decided to open up and say things about the minority groups, such as Muslim groups, he lost the next election miserably. So that's what happened. I think that has to be a lesson in this case. And about Anil Anthony and what his reputation, unfortunately, is tarnished here, because the only reputation Anil Anthony had for many Christians here was he was the son of A.K. Antony, who was a prominent figure, not just among supporters of the Congress party, of all people in Kerala. He has tarnished that image by allegedly calling his father a dog barking at the moon. So those kind of things have actually worked against his favor, number one. Number two, there are local members of the party who are upset with his nomination, because there are members of the party who's been working for 15, 20 years, hoping that they would someday get a nomination in Pathanamthitta, and Anil Anthony comes out of nowhere from another party and grabs the seat, which is also unfortunate for many workers in Pathanamthitta who was in the party. So that may work against his favor as well. Again, there are two other things. The other candidates are strong. Thomas Isaac, strong candidate, not compared to Antony. Antony is a very clean candidate compared to both the others, which will also work against his favor. I'll just add one more quick point. At the peak of BJP's popularity, which I believe was 2019 because of the Sabrimala issue, which was larger than life back then, even at that point of time, 300,000 votes is what they managed to get. So even with the support of the Believers Church, Anil Anthony will not get anywhere close to 300,000 votes this time, is what I'm going to say.
Both of them, Ajit as well as Nirmal, both of them very, very clear. And they say this church supporting Anil Anthony is going to bring no encouraging results in the coming elections.